Hello students, welcome to class. We're on Unit 15, and if you look at your screen, you can see in the upper right-hand side, this unit teaches students how to talk about imaginary or hypothetical situations and consequences using if clauses and modals would, might, and could. It also practices making suggestions using past modals. All right, and so in this unit, we're going to be talking about what's called hypothetical situations. A hypothesis is an assumption, something we think is true, or something we think might happen. A hypothesis is an assumption, an idea that is proposed for discussion so that it might be tested to see if it might be true. So hypothesis is what they use in science and mathematics. In the scientific method, the hypothesis is asked before any research is done. And so a hypothesis, pay attention to the stress, a hypothesis is an idea a scientist or a mathematician think might be true. So they have an idea, I think this might be true. Now we have to do experiments to test it, to see if it is true. Hypothetical is the adjective. Hypothetical means not real. Imagined as an example. She described a hypothetical case to clarify her point. And so a hypothetical story is a story that is not true, but it might be true and it might happen. And so we use hypothetical stories, hypothetical questions, hypothetical situations to imagine what might happen. And so that's what we're going to be focusing on in this unit, about situations that might happen. And we're going to be using the modal verbs with clauses would, might, and could. And we're going to be using if. And so, if this happens, then this might happen. Okay? So that's what we're going to be learning. You'll see. If you look at next to unit number 15, it says this graphic introduces the topic of unexpected events, which is developed throughout the unit. And so through the entire unit, we're going to be talking about unexpected events, something that happened or might happen that we didn't plan. Here the focus in the snapshot here, the focus is on true stories about people being honest by returning lost valuables and the surprising reactions they received. So what would you do? So this is the question for this unit. What would you do if this happened? I would do, I could do, I should do. That's what we'll be learning. And so here are some stories of honesty. Okay? And so honesty, by the way, is a noun. And we do not say that he is an honesty person. We say he is an honest person. The adjective describes the noun. Person is the noun, and so honest is the adjective. What kind of a person? He is an honest person. This is important that we use adjectives to describe nouns, but many students make the mistake. They use adverbs to describe a noun, like honesty and kindly. Okay, we don't do that. Okay, and so some stories of honesty. So here are 4 stories. So 4 true stories, apparently. These are headlines, like in a newspaper. Taxi driver returns Brazilian soccer players World Cup gold medal and $60,000. He is rewarded with $1,000 in souvenirs. And so a taxi driver found a soccer player's gold medal and $60,000. The soccer player must have left it in the taxi, but the taxi driver was an honest man and he returned it to the soccer player. His gold medal, you can see the picture, and $60,000. And he received a reward. He received $1,000 and also some souvenirs. So that's a good thing, is that sometimes if we're an honest person and we find something that has been lost and we give it back, sometimes we get a reward. But sometimes we don't get a reward. Look at the next story. Businessman tracks down owner of $750,000 and is thanked only with a phone call. All right, so here's a businessman, and apparently one of his customers lost $750,000. And the businessman found it, he solved the problem, but he did not get a reward. All he got was a telephone call. Thank you for helping me out. Goodbye, good luck. So very different. Some people get a reward for being honest, and some people don't get a reward for being honest. Look at the one below. Student turns detective to find owner of lost cash, credit cards, airline tickets, and jewelry. I'm an honest man, the student tells the relieved owner. And so apparently the student, he found some lost cash, some money, some credit cards, and some airplane tickets and jewelry. And he didn't just keep it, but he researched, he asked around, and he found out who the owner was. That took a lot of work. Nobody knew about it. He could have spent it, he could have kept it, and nobody would know. But he said, I'm an honest person. And so if I get a reward, or if I don't get a reward, that's not the issue. That's not the problem. I will be an honest person, and I will do everything to find out who this belongs to. And that's what he did. Here's another one. Homeless man and 3 kids returned lost $400 check to owner. Owner helps family move into house of their own. Wow. $400, only $400. It's a lot to us, but if you compare $750,000 or $60,000 or lost cash and jewelry and credit cards, $400 is not very much. But a homeless man with his 3 children, they found a check, and they found the owner, and they returned it to the owner. And their reward is the owner helped them get a new house for themselves. Not just a rented house, but a house that they owned. So that's amazing. Okay, so this is the question for you. No homework in this lesson, but for you to think, what would you do? And this, we're going to ask this in this unit. What would you do if you found a lot of money? What would you do if you found some jewelry? What would you do if you found a wallet or a watch or something valuable on the street or in a restaurant? What would you do if you found it? Would you keep it? Would you tell someone who has authority to solve the problem, or would you try to find the person it belonged to? What would you do? This has to do with character. Our character. What are we on the inside? Are we a good person on the inside that tries to do the right thing? Or are we a bad person on the inside that doesn't care about doing the right thing? All right? And so this is the snapshot, the introduction to our unit. And no homework, but I will see you in the next lesson, which is a conversation. All right? So have a great day.